Welcome to Echoes of Time, a journey into the forgotten worlds and the secrets they left behind.
You know, there's something about North Korea's first couple, Kim Jong Un and Ri Sol-ju, that just pulls you in. We see these pictures of them, right? Smiling, looking all modern and happy, but it always makes you wonder what's really going on in the most secretive country on Earth. So let's get into it.
So, that really brings us to the big question for this explainer. What is Kim Jong Un really like as a husband? I mean, is he the guy we see in those official photos? Because let me tell you, the story our sources allege, well, it paints a completely different and honestly, a much, much darker picture. Okay, so to really get the whole story, you've got to start with the image they want us to see. You know, the official version that the North Korean regime pushes out to its own people and to the entire world.
And publicly, he plays the part perfectly. He seems like this considerate, totally devoted, and faithful husband. You see him at these big events, and he comes off as super attentive. It's this whole image of a modern leader with his loving wife right there with him. But, and this is a big but, that's just the surface. It's all part of a very carefully built story.
All right, now, let's pull back the curtain on that perfect public image, because what our sources allege happens behind closed doors, it's a whole different world.
I want to start with just one number, 2,000. Just let that sink in for a second, 2,000. What could that possibly mean? Well, the answer is pretty shocking.
Okay, so get this. According to our source material, that number refers to a so-called pleasure squad of 2,000 girls that Kim Jong Un allegedly maintains. The report claims he spends more time with this group than he does with his own wife. Just wow. That one claim right there completely blows that image of the faithful husband out of the water, doesn't it? And here's the kicker. This isn't even a new thing he supposedly came up with. The sources claim it's a dark tradition that's been kept alive since his grandfather's rule. So this is something that's apparently been part of the regime's playbook for generations.
So, if all that is true, it makes you ask, right? Why even have a wife? Why go through the whole public marriage thing? Well, that's where we get into the whole strategic purpose of it all.
Yeah, seriously, what is the point of his wife? If he's supposedly spending his time with his pleasure squad, then what role does Ri Sol-ju actually play in all of this?
And what it all boils down to, according to the sources, is one word: propaganda. Her entire purpose is allegedly to show his soft side. I mean, this is a guy known for being absolutely ruthless, right? So having a wife, a family, it makes him seem more human, more relatable. The whole devoted husband thing, it's reportedly just for show, a strategic tool, nothing more.
But the story takes an even darker turn when you dig into Ri Sol-ju's own background and how she supposedly ended up in this position in the first place.
Forget any ideas of a love story. The source material claims this marriage wasn't her choice at all. Nope, it was an order, handed down by Kim Jong-un's father, Kim Jong-il, when he was on his deathbed. And let's be real, in a country like North Korea, when the supreme leader gives you an order, you don't really have a choice, do you? She was allegedly forced into it.
And her transformation was total. Before all this, Ri Sol-ju was a talented singer in an orchestra. She had a passion, a career. But once that order came down, her old life, it was basically erased. The regime reportedly went and destroyed every single recording of her performances. Why? Because Kim Jong Un apparently believes that his wife shouldn't be entertaining any other man but him.
Which brings us to what her life is allegedly like today. It might look like a life of luxury from the outside, but the sources we're looking at describe it as, well, basically, a gilded cage. I mean, just look at the level of control here. The source material claims she can't go on her own official trips. She's forbidden from doing any kind of charity work. She's not even allowed to see her own family. Can you imagine? She can't even take her own pictures. On top of all that, there's supposedly this huge pressure on her to have a son, a male heir, and her pregnancies are treated like top state secrets. It is, by all accounts, a life of absolute and total control.
So at the end of the day, what we have is this massive, unsettling gap between the public image, that smiling modern couple, and the incredibly grim private reality that's been alleged. It's just a stark reminder that what you see, especially from a regime like this, is almost never the real story.
And it all leaves you with one final, pretty heavy question. When you look at this whole story, a woman whose identity was erased, a life lived under complete control, a marriage that's just a tool for propaganda, it really makes you think, what is the true price of absolute power?
not just for the person who has it, but for every single person caught in their world.
This was Echoes of Time. If you love powerful history stories, subscribe and continue the journey with us.